Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Tiara Rahmaddhani. On this occasion, I would like to present my paper on the topic Analysis of Corporate Strict Liability related to the management of debitory waste in the Job Creation Law number 11 of 2020. So this is my outline papers, consists of background, formulation of problem, finding and analysis, and the last but not least is the conclusion. So I would like to start from the background first. Battery waste is any residual material from the production process that contains hazardous and toxic material, which can damage, pollute the environment, or even endanger the human health. There are several environmental law regulations regarding the dumping of the battery waste in Indonesia. For example, is the Law number 32 of 2009 concerning the environmental protection and management, and the Government Regulation number 101 of 2014. Where there are also several sanctions given if the party concerned violates the provision of the law, such as administrative, civil, and criminal sanction. There were absolute responsibility for the corporation for losses that occur without the need to prove the element of error, which is stated in Article 88 of the Environmental Protection and Management Law. However, in the Job Creation Law has eliminated the clause without the need for proof of guilt that side with the victim by implying that every environmental crime must be accompanied by strong evidence. The research question from my paper consists of the damage of battery waste and its management, concept of strict liability in the management of battery waste, and the corporate strict liability related to the management of battery waste in the Job Creation Law. The first is the damages of the battery waste and its management. As we know that battery waste is very dangerous for the environment, so proper management is absolutely necessary so that environmental sustainability can occur. Here, the Article 140.23 of the Environmental Protection and Management Law stated that basically battery waste management is an activity which includes reduction, storage, collection, transportation, utilization, processing, and/or landfilling. So from this article, we can conclude that hazardous waste must be handled with a special treatment considering the dangers and the risks that may arise if this waste spread to the environment. Second is the concept of strict liability in the management of hazardous and toxic waste. So, strict liability is a principle of legal responsibility that has been developing for a long time, which originated from the case in England, Reliance versus Fletcher. So, under the strict liability rule, the law makes people pay compensation for the damages, even if they are not at fault. So in other words, people have to pay compensation to the victims even if they took all the necessary precautions. And the concept of a business actor responsibility for the environmental management and preservation, including in the form of battery waste management, can be observed in the Article 1365 of the Civil Code and the Article 88 of the Environmental Protection and Management Law. And to ensure compliance with the obligation of environmental law subject, there are three law enforcement instruments, namely administrative law, civil law, and criminal law. The last is the corporate strict liability related to the management of battery waste in the Job Creation Law number 11 of 2020. So, the existence of the Job Creation Law, which simplifies more than 70 regulations in this country, is for ease of investing on the grounds that it encourages job creation. In Article 88 of the Environmental Protection Management Law stated that every person who acts, undertakes, or activities either use, produce, or manage battery waste so that it poses a serious threat to the environment is absolutely responsible for the losses incurred without the need to prove the element of error. But however, in the job creation law, the word without the need to prove element of error is omitted. So we can see that the amendment of Article 88 of the Environmental Law related to the absolute responsibility of environmental destroyer in the job creation law constitute a weakening of law enforcement. In the last, I would like to deliver my conclusion and suggestion. So the environment is an important means of maintaining the sustainability of all living things. The presence of the company in the midst of society will have a social impact, especially environmental impact on the society. Among others, the production of the battery waste, which if dumped into environmental media can threaten the environment, and then health and survival of the humans and other living creatures. So the battery waste that has been generated needs to be managed its management process, including packaging, storage, and also transportation that I already mentioned earlier. And the amendment to the Article 88 of the Environmental Law related to the absolute responsibility of the environmental destroyer in the job creation law constitute a weakening of law enforcement. So do not let the environmental sector in the job creation law become a haven for investors. On the contrary, it is a disaster for the environmental sustainability. So, building requires investment, but investment must have an ecological. So that's all from me. Thank you for watching my presentation video, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.